Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Punatu Saha Bunyam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I am trying again to do it on this computer. As you know, on Thursday class it conked out, so I'm trying again. If it goes away, then please wait, because then I'll just come in from the phone, as was done yesterday. You must have noticed the difference between yesterday's and today, how it looks. So I'll go to the phone. So if it goes off for whatever reason, I'll just come in from the phone. So don't go away. What is it? We did, yeah, come back after the break. Okay. So where were we? We were studying this very important aspect of human life, which is our capacity to make assessments. It's it's the most practical thing, really. And you cannot be disturbed if you do make proper assessment. Understand, what is your husband like, what is your wife like, what are your children like, and deal with them accordingly. Do not deal with every human being the way you feel that I should be dealt with. No, because people are different. And we have to normalize the differences. All of us don't have to fall into one particular slot, because we are humans. All tigers have to be the same, all cows have to be the same, all monkeys have to be the same. We're humans. And therefore, we are different. We can be very different. We can also be similar. Now, I don't say anyone who is in the mold is bad. No, we can be similar, we can be different. We are free to choose whatever we choose to do. So we have to normalize it in our own mind that people are different. And that's fine. What's wrong with it? There's no reason for me to resist that difference. And once we get through that much in our head, nobody's really bothering us, because you just realize that that's the way the person is. That's that. What can anyone do? Each one is very different. And each one we should look at like a bouquet of flowers. Suppose you get a bouquet of flowers. They're all different. Sometimes it's nice to get a whole bunch of roses, and the uniformity is very good. Sometimes it's beautiful to get a garden picked bouquet of flowers, which is everything is very different. Some are tall, some are short, and that's beautiful too, isn't it? Why should everybody be military style uniform, or everybody have to be garden style different? Now, once we get this much through our thick skulls, we have no problem with anyone, because that person has a right to live his or her way in the way they choose. That is a right that a human being is born with, isn't it? You have the right to choose your life in any way of your choice, and so does everybody else. To tell somebody, you're my husband, therefore you should do this, you're my wife, therefore you should do this, doesn't make any sense. I hope in your morning studies, you are thinking of this idea of normalizing differences. If people are different, that is no reason for me to dislike them, no reason for me to be anti them, no reason for me to expect them to be different from what they are. I have given you so far many stories on how correct assessment helps. Can you give me a story on how correct assessment has helped? You can do it from anywhere. Only fair, no? I gave you so many stories. Now you give me one.
When my son was young and he was getting up late, my husband used to switch off the air conditioning. So he complained many times, but then he himself thought of it. And one day when my husband was sleeping, he kept AC on 18, which my husband cannot bear. So then they came to a conclusion that he will not switch off the AC and he will not harass him by putting it on 18.
Okay. So, all right. So what was the moral of the story? We have to show us. Go ahead, Shilpa. You are muted, are you? Because I can't hear you.
He assessed that if he's going to complain, his daddy is not going to listen to it.
Okay. So yes, children are best at correct assessment then. Yes, children are really very good. There is a story which you have often heard about from My Friend and Other Animals. If you have not read Gerald Durrell's My Friend and My Family and Other Animals, then please read it. It's wonderful because he comes across as a person who, from his childhood, is able to assess people, animals very well. So once he wants birthday gifts. So he knows that he has few siblings and a mother. There's no father on the scene. So he thinks very carefully and he writes about how he does this. And it's a very, very interesting thing. He starts with saying that the most important things I left for my mother. This is a 7-year-old boy talking, okay? The most important things I left for my mother because I know that whatever I put on her list, she's going to get me. Now the difficulty is, what do I do with my siblings? So he has a sister. So how does he get her to give him gifts that he wants, not all the nonsense that she's going to give him? So he's thinking about it. So what I need to do is get her into the shops that she loves to go. So he makes a list of all the things. He's an ardent nature lover, animal lover. So he's always trying to get things that will help him, with his hobby. So he put on her list everything that had to do with materials because that would make her go to the shop that she wanted to go. And then she figured that down. Then he has 2 brothers. So one of those brothers is just a bookworm. So he needed some books. So he said, I better put these books down on Lawrence's, on Larry's list because that will make him go to the bookshop and he would love to go. So how he's able to get for his birthday everything that he wants is very interestingly put. It comes from just knowing the other person. If he told his brother to bring him some cloth from a store, he's never going to get it. And once you know people, you have the great advantage of having all your desires fulfilled. So why don't you know people? Who's giving another story?
Sankiji, an example of Swamiji comes to mind. A bunch of 20-year-olds in the academy decided to have a Vada Pav party. And without obviously Swamiji knowing it. And as they were about to have it, he gate crashed the party and joined them in the party. So, I mean, a brilliant example of correct assessment. You can't expect 20-year-olds to follow discipline thoroughly.
Yes. Oh, and it was on a Friday, correct. Friday evening, Friday night dinner at the academy is fasting. So these kids, what they do sometimes is they smuggle food in from the nearby vada pav and some bhaji and some biscuits, some minor petty things. What can you get in a village like that? So they'll smuggle it in. And see how well Swamiji handled it. He went for the party himself. So that's just understanding people. This is not a crime, right, that you're hungry, right? And it's not a crime that you're young and that you're naughty. These are not crimes. So see how well he has handled it. Yes, correct. Good example. What else? When did any of you ever use correct assessment and find that how you were able to achieve whatever end you wanted?
Janki-ji, many times I get irritated with people with certain things of theirs. Then I read somewhere that you may not have the same negative things, but just because you have something else doesn't make you a better person. I think just that stayed in my head that they have something that I don't like. I have something probably that I feel is okay, but others might find that as a negative thing. So after that, I think I started accepting people in a more accepting way.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it? Always true.
Yeah.
If I don't have your negativity, you don't have mine.
Yeah.
So, we are all on the same page, really. We all have got some good things and we all have got some bad things. And if we can all tune into each other's good things, we'll be happy. And if we all tune into each other's bad things, we'll be miserable. Very good. So, but tell me a story that you actually did, you assessed, you did it, and you achieved the result you wanted.
To put my head into it. Yeah, I think by and large, I would get irritated when people don't show up when they say they're coming, or when they're not on time, when they loosely plan things. But then I also would get irritated with people who are all the time partying, all the time showing off. Then when my friend pointed out, everybody has different levels of evolution in different areas. But it's the same example that I have told earlier. But when I realized that it was my fault that I'm judging others, the same way they will judge that I'm trying to act simple, or for simple people, I may be more flashy or whatever. So after that, I totally stopped judging women who are all the time want to party, have fun, enjoy, travel, just live in the moment kind of a thing. So that really changed. In fact, I look at them admiringly, that they're not taking life so seriously, which is good, they're in a happy space. And yeah, so that I have changed. I'm able to change that little bit.
Yes, very good. But now I'm not asking for those. I'm asking not you, the whole class.
Yeah.
I'm asking for examples where you assessed correctly and got the result you wanted. You knew that, like the example I gave you about Gerald Durrell.
Yeah.
He made a correct assessment and he got. So anyone in the class, can you give me an example? Yes, Amaran.
Yeah, Hari Om. Maybe with the classes learning from you and all, normally every Sunday we used to have a meeting at 9 o'clock for the business review. So always one person is to be a little far away from my place. So he's always coming, 9 o'clock means 9:15, 9:20 is makes. So last time when somebody visitors came from Dubai, then we had a meeting at 9. So I know pretty well that 9 means he'll come 9:50. So I made 8:30. Then when he came, nobody was there. He called me, what happened? I said, no, since I said that there is a prepone by 8:30, since sometimes you are coming late. But I did not tell him, because he was doing the things. So what I found that instead of 9 o'clock, I made a little early. So I could able to assess people who are always late. So I could able to things done.
Very good. You get people on time, just tell them to come a little early. It's quite easy, actually, if you just stop and think about these things a bit. Mostly in class, what happens is we say, oh, very nice class. But that's not helping us, right? We have to sit and think about these things, really think about them. How am I, like, even when we all get together, we do karma together, have we assessed one another? And nobody so far, thank God, has come to me and complained that this person is like this and this person is like that. Thank God. And even as the karma group grows, there's still no grumbling among the people. It's one of the worst things that can happen when you work together. So from that, I'm assuming that you all understand each other well. So that's a really good thing. But this is how we must learn to practice it. We do it with your staff. Now, you may have a maid who cannot listen carefully to what you say. So then what do? You get her to repeat every time you say something, so that you know she's registered what you say. But otherwise, half the time she doesn't listen to what you're saying. So please use it and fulfill your desires with it. Because then you will realize that this is an important thing. Use it. Let the mind enjoy the fact that it works. And then the mind, because its nature is to ask more, will do it more. So let it enjoy the benefits of it. Has anyone else got a story? Nobody is, Amarendra gave us one story. Give me another story quickly. Nobody uses any of this.
Okay, I'll give a very quick story. I just checked out. My wife is not around, so I can share that story. So we used to have classes in Delhi in a particular place, and Janki ji is aware of that place. And that was Times of India Foundation. And one day they said that you'll have to vacate the place. You can't have a class here anymore. So we said, all right, let's move the class to our house, which was next door. So we did that. Now here was a challenge, because Reena was my wife. She would not come to the class because she doesn't get up in the morning. She's not a morning person. So I spoke to her and she said, look, I don't get up in the morning and I don't attend the class. And generally after the class, you have some tea and refreshments. So she said, how will this be managed? So now here was a dilemma. So then we discussed, and then I said, I fully understand that you can't get up in the morning, so don't get up in the morning. But you can always make an arrangement the previous night as to what is to be served the next day. And we'll still have the class. So that worked very well. So I didn't force her to get up in the morning. She didn't force me. She knew that the class is very important. And I'm very keen to have class at the house, in the house. And I think that arrangement went off very well for quite some time.
Nice, very good.
She still gets up. She still gets up late now. She still doesn't get up in the morning.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes, asking people to get up early is the worst thing you can tell them. Because people who want to do and people who don't want to don't do. And if we get on people's cases and say, get up, get up, get up, then you just drive them insane. So that's why you can see now Arunji has a bright smile on his face, because he's getting along obviously very well with his wife. Correct assessment is helping the situation. If you're not getting along with your spouse, you're not studying Vedanta, please. Everybody must have beautiful home relationships. It is your acid test. If you don't get along with the people at home, don't talk about how much you're going to love the rest of the world. You make sure you get along with everyone you meet. I mean, no pressure on you, obviously, but please remember that, the knowledge should help us in our life. Naim, you also had a story?
I did, Jankiji. It's very recent. I go to this park where I have a group of friends and we exercise together. And we just, gel well because we all come to take care of our health. One among them is a person who's always complaining. And sadly, I won't mention his name, but sadly, he's had 2 divorces back to back. And this is the 3rd marriage he's in. And he would always complain about his spouses. And so the group started avoiding him. And I was the only person who was more empathetic. I guess I was listening to him. So he would call me up and tell me about his problems. And he was avoided by the group slowly because he was always complaining and whining. So once I asked him, his wife had gone away again without telling him. This third wife had again left him for some time, separated him for some time. And then he called me again and started whining that I did so much in all my relationships, but they always take me for granted. And my third wife has also gone. And I pointed out the fact that, see, you're very emotionally needy. You're very emotionally needy at this point. You always want somebody else to take care of your happiness. You should be more responsible for your own happiness, not your spouse or something. And don't think like a victim where you feel that the world is against you and they're out to get you. Once I explained these two things to him, that, maybe he has a victim mindset and he's too emotionally needy. Something clicked in him and he started thinking about his past divorces and how it happened, the first one and the second one. And now the third one is also shaky. So he started realizing that he's emotionally needy. And after that drastic changes, he stopped complaining at all. And now he's back in the group. And it's nice to see that he's made such a huge change. And he's working on it. He's working. He's a work in progress. Much better than what he was. So that's the only assessment I could think of.
Okay, that's good, Naeem, but you will have to tell us something what you did. Other people don't tell us.
Yeah. Well, I was the only one who told him the truth. Others were avoiding him. And so I told him I frankly asked him, why do you keep calling me? And why are you not calling somebody else? And just think about it, I asked him. He said, you listen to me. I said, and what makes you feel good about it? Why are you dependent on me or your spouse or anybody else to feel emotionally secure? Don't be so emotionally needy is what I counseled him and told him that this is your weakness.
Very nice. So you are proving with this our general thesis that one person learns Vedanta and many, many, many benefit. Thank you for that moral of the story. Thank you. Because, this is so true in life. You need one mature person in a certain environment, and that person will help that environment. We keep trying to get more and more people to class. We don't need to bother. I mean, we should, because people should know this. But the thing is, each one of us individually understand, we will have done amazing service to the world, wherever we go. I don't know whether Mitali is here today. Are you there, Mitali? Mitali, she studied Vedanta. She started a major NGO. And she attributes it to her study of Vedanta. She started giving tuitions to school children in villages. Means she didn't teach herself. She created a system by which all this happens. And that's fantastic, right? Now here, Naeem, somebody in some park somewhere, Bangalore, no, Naeem?
Yes, Jankiji, Bangalore.
So in Bangalore, some park, somebody has gone to do exercise. Some of that knowledge has reached him there. So who all are benefited? That person is benefited. That group is benefited because this man has still stayed in. That household has benefited. Now you see why it's so important for us to do the work that we do. We will benefit all sorts of people who we have never seen, we have never known, and we will never know what benefit is there. Now, when that lady, his wife, has a happy relationship, when she goes to her work, she will do her work better there, whatever her work be. So can you even imagine the cascading effect of this? If we don't spend our lives trying to get this across to people, then Mahati Vinashti. What a great loss indeed. Anyway, coming back to our topic for today, which was correct assessment will help us fulfill our desires. You will relate better with your family to begin with. You will relate better with your work colleagues. You will relate better with your Vedanta group. And because you are doing all this better, people will ask you, where do you know this from? And then you can tell them, or you can give them some advice. One idea, 2 ideas from Vedanta is enough to superlatively improve somebody's life. So if you've been around for a long time and your life is not like 50 times better. Please go back and find out what is happening. Imagine Naim has given one idea to one person and his life is better, right? Now we have this idea too. Is our life better? Are we getting along better? So is that man over there better than us in application? So if we have learned Vedanta to be superlatively better, superb. If it is not, something is terribly wrong. Please examine what went wrong. Satsang host. What causes these differences in people? Is it their vasanas? Yes, satsang host. Omkar, is that you? Yes, Omkar, why are you asking me this?
No, because I mean, the reason I'm asking this is I can't understand why self-realized people appear so different. Because I mean, exhaustion of vasanas is self-realization, and of course, you have given the answer that there are vasanas that are in. I mean, it's in motion. That's why whatever, even after self-realization, it's like the fan being switched off and yet being in motion. But somehow these people come across as more different than similar. Why would that happen then?
Because all vasanas are different. Why would they be similar? What reason is there for them to be similar?
So is it exhaustion of vasanas is self-realization?
Yes. So
if vasanas are gone, what brings out those differences? Like Swami, like I said, Ramakrishna Paramhans and Swami Vivekananda were so different from each other. And I'm assuming both their vasanas were exhausted and that's why they were self-realized.
Well, I don't know about Swami Vivekananda being self-realized, but Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is considered to be a self-realized soul. Now, please don't attribute self-realization right, left, and center to everybody. There are people, there's a long, long journey.
Okay.
From where we are to realization. So there are many, many people who are so much better than us, but are still not realized. So there's a long thing. So let's not attribute it because we really don't know who's realized and who's not. But in a claimed realized souls, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is. So now, why are they different? Is because their original vasanas are different. Why are they not similar? You are assuming that because all desires are exhausted, people will behave the same. This is incorrect. They cannot behave the same. But because their desires are all exhausted, they internally are the same. This is where you're making a mistake. A behavioral pattern is based on, okay, let's say that the fan is switched off. Then the fan will continue circulating because that is its prakriti, that is its nature. Okay, the light is switched off. Then it will go off fatak like that. Okay, now different things with different gadgets will behave differently when they are switched off. But the common thing is that the fueling is no more. That means the electricity has stopped. So internally then the gadgets are in the same state, which is they are not being provided electricity. But externally their behavior is all different. So internally a self-realized person, all self-realized persons are the same. They all have complete knowledge. They all have complete bliss. They all have complete love. They all have dynamism in their personalities because there's nothing stopping it. So now this is common internally, right? All self-realized souls will have universal affection. All self-realized souls will have knowledge of the truth. All self-realized souls will be happy and blissful. But whether that person will tick you off, fire you, treat you with silence, or explain things to you is a matter of their vasanas. Is that clear? So internally they're all the same. Externally will be a matter of their vasanas.
Matter of their vasanas which are now exhausted, is it?
Yeah. Means it is a matter of what their personality was. The fueling has stopped, but that personality is what it is, right? So suppose a very hot-tempered person like Sage Durvasa, then after a realization, he will keep continue firing. He's not going to stop firing you. But his love for you is complete. His knowledge is complete. And his own happiness is complete. He is not getting blood pressure because he's firing you. So, Omkar, when you realize the self, you will continue to do digital marketing. You'll continue to tick off people who don't stick to the line. You will continue to do that. But first, when you did it, you may have had a selfish motive. Later, when you do it, it will be a selfless motive. Okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Bharat, not expecting everyone to understand the new method of enrolling for the new course due to assessment saves you from a lot of agitation. Okay, so this is obviously what poor Bharat has gone through. We changed to the LMS system for the courses so that, people can now do it at their time, at their pace. Those who want to do live can do live. There are so many people who are not able to do live. They're in different parts of the world, or they're in the middle of their work or something or the other. So we switched over and tried to make it available for everybody at all times. And so the poor team has had a tough process with this. Did you all have a lot of trouble in registration and enrollment? How much these people have had to deal with it? I don't know. All of y'all have registered and enrolled and had trouble, is it? Yes, you had trouble?
No, none at all.
No trouble. It was very, very easy and simple.
Oh, then why? They were a lot of things to the last minute. I think some people were not even able to enroll to the last minute, but you can still enroll because the recordings are available. So now Bharat had to deal with everybody who had a problem. So he did it without agitation. Can you imagine 1 million people are coming to him and complaining about something and saying, I'm not being able to enroll, help me. And everybody who works over here is doing their own work. It's not like anybody here is an employee. Okay, they're all doing volunteer work. That means they have their life other than what they do here. Only thing is they don't say, I'm so busy. They are running their business or their work and everything. And plus they do the amount that they're doing over here. So we should actually do research in this, that as you do more Vedanta, how much more work you become capable of doing without getting stressed about any of that work. Look at them, they all have their full-time professions, plus they do this full-time. Amazing, no? We have to actually record all this because nobody believes us when we tell them. And we need a good research team. Is anyone interested in doing research? Please get in touch with me and let's start a good research team who can document things and people can know that we're telling them the truth. It's amazing how much work you're capable of doing as you study Vedanta. Just amazing. Okay, today seems more like a sales talk on Vedanta. No? Sorry, let us continue with our text. Okay, chalo. So is this point clear about correct assessment? Please use it to fulfill your desires from the various people around you. Objects, beings, governments, everything. Once you use it to fulfill your desires, it will get entrenched in your system. And then you will know that this is the way to deal with everyone. Hopefully, eventually, you will be able to use that for the greater good. But first, use it for your selfish purposes. And once you're convinced it works, then you will naturally use it for the greater good. Because selfish purposes just After some time, how much selfishness can you do one day? How much more money can you earn, and how many more houses can you buy, and how many more gyms can you take membership to? Yes, Shilpa, Anuja, you're right. Mahesh has been the leader of the initiative. Yes. So he has set it all up. Yes, Mukesh, all of them are immediate. I hope you always get immediate answers from everybody in Vedanta, because it shows that they're mentally available to do things. If you don't get an immediate answer, it means they're not mentally available. Immediate doesn't mean like if you're in class, you start answering. When you're in class, you're in class. But you keep yourself generally free to deal with whatever is necessary to be dealt with. And I wish you all do get the great benefit of it. Otherwise, what a great loss, no? Imagine being so close to Vedanta and we never got the benefit of it. That should be really our exam. How much has our life improved because we studied this? How much have we contributed because we studied this? Like how these people, how much the contributions. Okay. We have a long journey ahead of us. I hope you all have committed many, many, many years of your life to this, because it ain't happening fast. But it doesn't happen so slowly that you've been around for a fairly long time and you've got no benefit. Every time you have to see the growth, you have to experience it. And I don't say, oh my God, 4 months I did it and I didn't grow. Don't worry about the 4 months. Because you don't know how growth takes place. It's an amazing thing. No, frankly, when I started this whole university work, it was too much. It was just too much. There are like 15 verticals in this thing. And like everybody was full up. Nobody was there to help because they were already full up. And it was sometimes like, what have I done, for heaven's sake? And then slowly as you do it, you find that you are able to do more. You are able to do more. Without losing your cool, of course. So, I hope that you all will grow with this knowledge. It will be a real pity if it didn't happen. Real pity. I know many of y'all have told me about the benefits. That's fine. It's not that we're here to look for the benefits, but if the benefits are not there, something is wrong. So, correct assessment says most students will not put in the requisite effort to give the benefits. But I know my students aren't like that. They're all going to work, right? All going to work very, very hard. Okay. So, let's start. Yes. It is natural to share the benefits with others. See, if you even eat a good gulab jamun, don't you go around telling people, I had such a good gulab jamun, you must have that one. It is very natural. Human beings are naturally altruistic. You remove the junk and they will naturally be altruistic. That's why Vedanta is more about removing than putting. We don't need to teach anybody anything. We just need to remove all the junk. Once the junk is gone, each one will be a gem in themselves. It's like each one of us are like some diamond which is not polished. So all you do is you do the polish. What is polishing? You remove all the stuff on top. And then the diamond is exposed. So yes, we will naturally share the benefit as we get it. Okay, Meera. All right, so let's go to practical exercises. Okay, who will read?
I can read, Jankiji.
Please do.
Practical exercises. Spiritual practice is subjective. You must go introvert and discover the self within you. You may seek guidance from a spiritual master, but take up his preaching on its own merits. Do not allow the life and personality of a guru to interfere with his teaching. His life and teaching must be treated separately. Do not mix them up. To live an ideal life is one thing, and to be able to explain the way to live that life is quite another. Everybody tries to reason, but few know the science of reasoning. People commit the grave blunder of mixing the personality of a teacher with his teaching. They transfer the personal charm, often got without merit, to his teaching and become enslaved by him. So the paragraph is saying spiritual practice is subjective. You have to be introverted rather than, and you can seek guidance from a master, but don't confuse his lifestyle with his teaching. They're two separate things. To live an ideal life and to be able to teach others how to live an ideal life is two separate things. People try to reason and they don't really have that capacity to reason. And they commit the blunder of mixing the personality of the teacher with his teaching.
9, you said almost the whole paragraph. Give us 2 or 3 sentences what the paragraph says. You started off well, so let's try. Give just the main idea.
You have to be introverted. Don't confuse the teaching with the life of the teacher.
Very good. So it is about being subjective. It's about being introverted. When we fall in love with the teacher, we are becoming extroverted again. So how is that going to help us? How is it going to help us whether a teacher is really good or really bad or whatever? Mera na lena na dena teachers. Okay, he's very hot-tempered. He's very this, he's very that, or she's this, she's that, she's very sweet, she's very hot-tempered, she's very pleasant, she's very unpleasant. Na lena na dena. People go even further. They say, oh, you should get married. Why? My guru is married. You should not get married. Why? My guru is not married. Whether your guru is married or unmarried, what has it got to do with you? Have you noticed that after being with the teacher for some time, the students start looking like him? Because they'll do exactly. If the teacher has long hair, they will also have long hair. If the teacher is a blonde beard, they will also get a long beard. But why? You live your life and let the teacher, poor fellow, live his own life. Each one of us has our own vasanas. And we have to live our life well. We don't have to be anyone else. But we get enthralled with the teacher. And the teacher wears simple clothes. Yeah, we also wear simple clothes. Teacher wears all diamonds and I don't. You have to wear diamonds. I didn't think you hold your own ground. Just hold your own ground. Let anybody do whatever in the world they want. Your business is to find the self. And you will do whatever it takes to find the self. Nothing else. That is the spiritual path. Find the truth, the ultimate truth. We are not here to do anything else. And to do that, you have to hold your own ground. Maybe everybody is doing something. Maybe in Vedanta, everybody is doing something. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to not do it because everybody is doing it also. It's got nothing to do with what anyone else does. It doesn't come into the equation at all. It just doesn't come into the equation. And if we can do that, then we are good. Because then our dedication is only to one thing, which is finding that ultimate truth. No dedication to anything else. No teacher, no subject, no work, nothing. If it takes me to the self, I do it. If it doesn't take me to the self, I don't do it. Now, whether something will take you to the self or not, only you can tell. No one else can do this for you. You know in your heart what takes you towards the higher. Do it. You are the final arbitrator, nobody else. should I do this or should I not do this is a question that only you are capable of answering about your life. Don't attempt to answer it for anyone else's life. Not your wife, not your child, not your husband, not your parent. No one else. Answer the question for yourself. Should I do this or should I not do this? And that is authenticity. That is arjavam. Arjavam means uprightness. It's one of the qualities of a spiritual sadhak. Are you upright? You've got arjavam. Arjavam means that deep authenticity to the person you are. Don't overstep. We are not noble souls. We are average wala souls. We cannot suddenly overstep and do something fantastic. We can't do it. We'll have to go in steps. And what is important is not which step you're taking. What is important is that you are taking that step. No, but I'm only going from KG to pre-primary. That's not important. What is important is that you are taking that step. Because if you do go from KG to pre-primary, from pre-primary, you go to first. Don't worry about where you are. Don't worry about where anyone else is. Deep authenticity towards being the person you are, unashamedly. Don't be ashamed of your faults. Don't be proud of your virtues. You are what you are. It's just a fact of life. If I look out of the window now, it's not raining. It's a fact, right? It's not raining. There's a lot of breeze. That's a fact. Are we going to say, oh, what horrible thing is not raining, or what a wonderful thing is not raining? We don't, right? It's a fact, whether it's raining or not. Similarly, in my own personality, there are facts. I am so selfish, maybe, or I am so unselfish, maybe. I am clean and neat and tidy, or I am dirty and I keep things messy. I'm punctual or I'm not punctual. I'm hot-tempered or I am mild and pleasant. These are just facts. Be authentic. Neither to be ashamed to be somebody, neither to be proud to be somebody. When you start just being yourself, you're starting the spiritual path, aren't you? Never mind what the teacher is. Just never mind. This falling in love with the teacher, like, oh, my guru is the greatest. Well, maybe, may not be. That's not the point. But you getting enthralled will stop your growth. Take what is needed and leave what is not needed. Now, no matter how sweet or good or nice the person is, as an individual, as a human being, it is not necessary that that person knows how to teach how to be good or nice. We don't seem to understand that teaching is itself a quality. It is not necessary that just because you know something, you know how to teach it. It's not necessary. So there could be, it is possible, that a very good person doesn't know how to teach how to be good. It is also possible that a person who's not very good can teach how to be good. It's possible. You know, otherwise, how can Sachin Tendulkar ever have a coach? Let us assume, for argument's sake, that he's the best cricketer. But he also has a coach, right? Now that coach cannot play as well as he plays, but he knows how to coach him. Chanakya doesn't run the country. Chanakya can teach Chandragupta how to run the country.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah, one second. I thought there was some other question also. Bharat, the obsession with the teacher's personality comes about when the student isn't clear about his purpose. Would that be the right understanding? Yes, that's correct. When the purpose is not self-growth, that's when we get obsessed with the personality. It could be anything. It could be just receiving the love of the teacher, being in a nice group. There's some people who come to volunteer with us because they say that, oh, I'm not doing anything, so I will volunteer with you. They just want to do something like that. So,
Janki
anything other than, coming to you, Milan. Anything other than self-development makes us lose focus. Now, you may have come for self-development, but you can still get enthralled with the teacher because somewhere along the line, you lost the plot. You forgot what you started this whole process for. So it's not that you came erroneously, but you came and you forgot. That is also a thing. So yes, basically the purpose is not there. That is why we say he's good or he's bad. How does it even matter whether he's good or he's bad? Is he coaching you properly for what you have come to be coached for is your only question. Everything else out of focus. Then you will reach some place. Okay, Bharat?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Omkar.
So, if I come across somebody who says, I will teach you how to be a millionaire, wouldn't the obvious question in my mind would be, are you yourself a millionaire? If you're not yourself a millionaire, what are you going to teach me? So how are we going to separate these two things?
Through discrimination. What is that person trying to teach you? Okay, so you're attending Thursday class. Remember, converse is not true. If he doesn't know how to, a person, excuse me, a person who is a billionaire, just because he's a billionaire, doesn't mean that he can teach you to be a billionaire. That's the point we're making over here. So this is the...
That's correct. But a pauper can't teach me how to be a billionaire, right?
That depends. That all depends. It depends on a lot of factors. For instance, suppose there is a spiritual guru who's not married. Can he not teach you how to conduct your marriage properly? So that all depends on the field and things like that. Can Sachin Tendulkar's coach, who has never played maybe international cricket, can't he teach Sachin how to play better? Now that depends on many other things. But the point which is being made here is just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he can teach you to become one. So just because somebody is spiritually developed doesn't mean he can teach you how to become spiritually developed. There are so many people in the world who are genuinely very good. But they will not be able to make you good.
I thought the point here is just because somebody is not living the life that he's teaching doesn't make him a bad teacher. Isn't that the point?
Yes, that is also the point. The point is not so much that as in whether he's living or not is not your problem. Your problem should only be, can he teach me or not? So don't focus on the wrong syllable. We always focus on, have you done, how are you living? Don't focus on that. Because A, he may live very well, but not be able to teach you how to do it. B, he may be able to teach you better than he can do it himself. That's also a possibility. So don't worry about him and his lifestyle. You worry about whether you are going towards your goal. Okay, then Milind, yeah, what were you going to say?
Janki ji, sometimes people are attracted by voice, language he use, and voice modulation. Attracted by that, and they conclude, oh, he's a master, he's a great teacher. But as well, teacher is maybe worst. But attracted by this some unnecessary things. That was my point.
Yes, correct. It really, some people are very good with the gift of the gab. They can really talk very well. That doesn't mean they know the subject. So please ignore all these other things and focus on, is it helping you improve? Just focus on that one thing. Monisha, we teach skills as teachers. How do you implement them is your hard work and destiny. We teach skills as teachers. Oh, I'm assuming then you mean you're a teacher. Yes, we teach skills. How you implement them is your hard work and destiny. Why? Destiny is your hard work and destiny, okay, your past. So being a millionaire is possible without me being one. Yeah, somebody may not want to do something, but is still capable of teaching you. Yes. So in continuation of Omkar's points, sorry, somebody said something?
Yeah, ma'am, the question before that. Before Manisha's.
Oh, there's a question before that. How do I go up on this? Sorry, I'm still not very used to this thing. Meera, okay. In this para, to live an ideal way is one thing, and to be able to explain the way to live that life is quite another. Please explain this. Meera, I just did know. Anything further you have to ask? Basically, it is don't worry about how that person lives. You worry about whether you are reaching your goal.
Okay.
Because see, a person may be like Sachin Tendulkar, may be the world's best batsman. But it doesn't necessarily mean he can teach you and me to be a batsman. Somebody else, I've forgotten his coach's name, but that chappie is not as good a batsman as Sachin is. But he teaches Sachin and he can teach us also.
Achrekar.
Achrekar, yes, Achrekar. So Coach Achrekar may not be very good in, some people are good in the game as well as they can coach. Ravi Shastri, I think, was a player and he was a coach as well. So some people are like that. Some people like Achrekar, they aren't players, but they are coaches. So don't worry about all the other stuff. Only worry if you are going to go for cricket coaching. All you need to worry about is my cricket getting better? That's all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about anything else. Now, how many matches does Achrekar win? Is he playing? When did he last play? All this is out of our thinking.
So, ma'am, in this case, to live an ideal life is one thing, and to be able to explain the way to live that life is quite another. So, where does the coach come and where does Sachin Tendulkar come here?
Okay, so to be able to play cricket is one thing. To be able to teach how to play cricket is another thing. They're two separate skills.
Okay.
Right. So Sachin may be the world's greatest player, but he may not be able to coach. And Coach Achrekar may not be any good a player, but he knows how to coach.
Okay.
And then there may be some people who know how to play as well as coach.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now,
Janki
yeah.
Swamiji gave an example, no? When he was in college, there was one teacher. He was best teacher, but I exactly don't remember, but he was comparing how my guru should be like that. Something, remember?
Milind, if you're going to express, you have to tell us at least something. You have some information you have to give us for us to know what you're talking about. Okay, chalo. Uttara. So in continuation of Omkar's point, parents do the same. They preach but don't practice. We are always told that lead by example. Uttara, there are different rules when you're a teacher and when you're a student. When you're a teacher, when you're a student, and if you want to learn, forget the personality of the teacher, focus on the teaching. If you are a teacher and you want to teach, you better lead by example. So there are different rules, different strokes for different folks. Don't mix the two.
So Jankiji, Vedanta is saying to the teacher, it's saying practice what you preach. And for us, it's saying don't worry about the practice, just focus on the preaching. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes. Except that Vedanta is not ever telling us what to do. It's making a statement of fact that if you don't do what you say, most people will not follow. That's a fact. And it is saying that just because a person can do something doesn't mean he can teach it. That's another fact. What you said was obviously the derivation of these facts. Vedanta doesn't say should. Vedanta gives the fact. Okay? Khemka. Khemka? Who is Khemka? Khemka, who is Khemka?
Hello, yes, madam. Yes, Janki.
Oh, okay. What is your name?
Nidhi.
Nidhi, okay. Nidhi, first time you're coming?
No, I've come previously, but I'm not a very regular. I don't attend regularly.
Okay. Okay, you're the regularly irregular types. All right. So fine. So today's takeaway is primarily correct assessment for better relationships and environment, correct understanding people are different. That's correct. But at the moment we are on the teacher. So that was
Yeah,
the
correct.
topic. At
Correct.
the moment,
Correct.
on the practical exercises of spiritual growth. Arun Sehgal, in business schools, professors teach how to run the business, but professors are not necessarily businessmen. Yes, good example. Okay. All right. So then that's it for today. Hari Om.